All right, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to our broadcast. Wherever you're joining us from this morning, we trust that you guys are good. Let us know if you're hearing us loud and clear. Good to have all of you folks, as we say, on the live this morning. We're on the live, as I can tell you. Good morning to you guys. I trust the night was good to y'all. I trust the night was good to y'all. The hours, I got up a little early. I went back for another hour. Said not today. Don't feel like adulting today. We can take another hour. How are you guys doing? A very, very good morning to all of you joining us today. Y'all are the reason we can say we're an international show. We got people joining us from all over the world. Like Claire, Alexis Chamley, Richmond. I think Claire is in Brooklyn. She's in New York. And then sometimes she's in Guyana. Mostly New York. Marlon Thomas, good morning. Marlon, see if I read all these names of Mayon isn't there. I vexed you, I vexed you. It's the end of January 29th. 29th, we're right there. Ingrid Crawford, good morning. Let's get big people doing big people things. Understanding the assignment. Loud and clear. Thank you, Marlon. The technicians are on duty this morning. Loud and clear. Marcy says, I'm good. Glad to know, Marcy. Glad to know. Jacqueline, and it's blackout. It's blackout. It's blackout. It's blackout. Could we talk a little bit about budget 2026? Blackout where we are. Can we talk a little bit about that? But we can solve it after we get the appropriations passed. Oh. It's blackout. Hours now. How are things by you? You got power? And if you got blackout, where is that blackout being registered? Blackout. Andrew Griffith said we got to stick together. I love it. Love it. Love it. Big people have to stick together. Us big people, we got to stick together. We got to stick together. Blackout. You got blackout where you are. Mandy comments say y'all share the live. Big people things. That's what I tell you. You don't gotta prompt big people and push and this and that. Big people will understand the assignment and work to suit. Work to suit. Blackout. Fastest growing GDP, high income country. Biggest per capita GDP and all these nice things on papers. But see, in reality, blackout. On the sidelines of sitting in the National Assembly quite recently, the president of the GTU, and a member of parliament, Coretta McDonald, she shared her thoughts with us. This budget, blackout. Don't expect her to be
2026, again, the big buzz about budget 2026. I was waiting to start flying, but I recognized that I couldn't lift off the ground, maybe just like the helicopter crash that we had the other day that was taking so long to lift off the ground. A budget 2026, again, comes with a whole lot of huge numbers. That doesn't mean anything to the small man. But what I'm thankful for is that the PPP have recognized that in 2026, they have to use APNU's theme, which says putting people first. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy that we were able to push this government to increase the children's cash grant from the measly what they used to give them to $60,000, which was what we had in our manifesto. I am happy that they were able to increase add transportation costs to that because they never did that. And I'm happy that we were able to be of assistance to them. They talk about all these big huge sums, but when you look at where the monies are going, it's going into infrastructure. We can't eat buildings, we can't eat roads. While it's commendable that we are going to be having proper roads and not concussion roads, we can't eat roads. And when those roads are completed, what next? Persons are still left without jobs. We hear they talk about improving health. Don't talk about education. I'm hoping that with education, on the budget that has been, the sum that has been aligned or allocated to education, that is going to be used to serve education. But what I found alarming again is that our very own university in Guyana, our university, our premier tertiary institution, again, it is running second place because goal, which is family, friends, and favorites oriented, is again going higher than having a higher allocation as against what is allocated for the University of Guyana. We hear the talks and we see those monies that have been allocated for the school feeding program. I do hope that it's going to be increased. You see, when we give these big numbers, it sounds very impressive. But again, no thought was given to inflation. And so again, the small man would be feeling the squeeze. Could you imagine? $1,000 for Boro. After this budget, you know what will happen? Boro will go to $2,000. You tell me how this budget is putting people first. When the cash grant is given for the children, the minibus fares will go up. How is this putting people first? This government has got to recognize that while some of them think Guyanese people are foolish, Guyanese people are not foolish. Guyanese people understand what they're doing. This budget, again, is for the 3 Fs: family, friends, and favorites. The small man is nowhere close to attaining or gaining maximum benefit from the 2026 budget. It's absolutely a waste of time. And like what one of my colleagues said, this budget is a vehicle budget. It's just moving along the line. They're adding more numbers every year and just moving along the line, not catering for the small man or not catering for the masses. And we waste so much time sitting in the National Assembly. 6+ hours to hear what? Absolute trash, which doesn't meet the masses of Guyanese people.
MP Coretta McDonald there, MP Coretta McDonald there, laying it out in her own way. 400 of you are on the live this morning, just about 400. 400 of you on the live this morning. You know, I wish we had some people who would smash that emoji button this morning. I wish 300 of that 400. Wherever you are watching, wherever you are there, y'all know what's the emoji button? I know why you get to a certain age, you're too tech savvy. You know, you gotta call somebody, help me with this thing here, help me down this thing. Help me down this thing here. Y'all know what's the emoji button. Find out from them, children, man. You know, find out from them. Please and thank you. Guys, we're happy that you're here with us another day. I really wanted to start with Coretta McDonald. They said the pace for us. You know, that's pace bowling and waste of time. You know, that's pace bowling. You know, that's a Malinga right there. Fell, fell one past your head. You know, wounded, badly wounded. Good morning to all our beautiful folks who are joining us in our broadcast this morning. We're very, very happy and delighted that all of you can be here with us this morning, without exception. All of you, Joyce and Orwin, Lynette and Wernella. I see Andrew's on with us. Good to have all of you here. Edward, Fidel, Yvonne, good to have all of you here with us. Let's start on a lighter note. Right? Who may say don't hit the button, please? Thank you. Who may say don't hit it? Hit the thumbs up button on YouTube and share the live. That's it. That's it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right. So let's start on a light note this morning. As we were coming on, I saw Nicki Minaj, Trinidadian singer, rapper, lives in the US, making the rounds. You know, listen, listen. You start moving ahead. Caribbean people, wash your nut. I was looking for some kind of words. Oh, y'all left Nicki Minaj alone. Let Nicki Minaj. Only she can do it. Let Nicki Minaj. So she's aligned herself with President Donald Trump. Right. Recently got one of the gold Visa cards from President Trump. Free. It's worth $1 million. Free. And now we're told that the singer is on her way to citizenship. Nicki Minaj playing she cards right like anybody else. You know? So why vex with her? Why all the vitriol? Why all the hate? What's that about? You know? In my Rodney King voice, can't we just all get along? See y'all left Nicki Minaj this morning. I know she might got some haters on with us right now. Right? Neocon, Deborah, Shatta, Peter Alfonso, watching from Brooklyn. Good morning, Peter. Yvonne and Pretty Milicia. Some of the things making it wrong. I saw some very, very unkind commentary. You know, Minaj and Trump, there were the event quite recently, and he introduced her to speak, and you know, she was blushing, and you know, I was told they held hands at one time. Staying relevant. So Nicki Minaj got her gold MasterCard, Visa card, you know, or US what do you call it? Not Visa card. Y'all help me out there, man. Y'all know some of y'all got y'all thing in your pocket there. Right? Residency, whatever it is. What is the card? I don't have one, so that's why I'm asking you. You remind me. The gold card to be in the people country and get the benefits. Right. Green card. Her green card is gold. That's special. When your green card gold is special. Right? You're special. Neocon and all the other folks, right? All the other folks. Y'all distracted me. Naomi, good morning. Naomi, good morning. My family, Marla Pandey, on the live. Samantha Happiness, I'll see your profile photo. What I can tell you? Samantha Happiness. What I can tell you? What can they tell you? So moving on, I tell you how to start on a light note. Bring you all in on a light note. You know, it's all downhill. It's all downhill from there. Folks, how are you all doing? Y'all got up this morning, y'all still in bed. I see some of y'all say it's very cold and so on. Right? It's very cold. You had the showers yet? He had a shower. He said, you know, as Guyanese, we are very different. As I asked about shower, as I asked about shower there, while I was reposing in the US a couple of weeks ago, my cousin was telling me, she said they were talking about showering somehow, conversation with Seymour. So she said she told a colleague, I shower 3 times a day. Isn't that how we do this Guyanese? At least twice. At least twice. She said her friend said to her, 3 times a day, her American friend. 3 times a day, that's a bit excessive. You all shower yet? That's a bit excessive. How many of you excessively shower? You got up this morning, you brush, you brush the thing, Beatrice, Alex. Yeah, that's how we do it. And you never know that these things are so problematic. You never know you're excessive until you compare yourself to another culture. Right? How you prepare for another. So my aunt had one for me too. It's just how we're different as culture. Nobody in better. Don't do it. Nobody in better. But if you're excessive, put up your hand. If you're excessive, you're an excessive shower person. Put up your hand. So they start feeling sticky. I mean, what is it? This is the land of many waters, but it's not the same for everybody. It's not the same. So my aunt had an American friend over at their palatial dwellings in South Carolina. They got big gallery and fancy things and so on. So they had a friend over, and at their house, people accumulate in the kitchen. The kitchen is the gathering place. Everybody meets in the kitchen. So she cooking some food and so on. She said when she opened the cupboard and so on, the pantry, whatever you call it, and the lady see all this food and so on. We buy food for the month and sometimes for the year. But these people bring it every day. Go in the car in the shop. That's what government bringing it to, Go for 2 pints rice. Go for half pound beef. You know how Korean people do it? She when she friends see all this food, they got stuck up. She said, the girl asked her, she said, what you are preparing for? Like you are preparing for something. It's a blizzard. What's going down? That's how you all do it there. You all Americanized now. You buy what is needed. Like you're preparing for something. I just do that as an aside. Just chatting you all up as an aside. Dennis Booker, how are you all this morning? Everyone said too much blackout. Everyone said too much blackout, like the ship not working. I want to ask the same thing. Too much blackout. That being said, I told you all it's all downhill. Right? Naomi said most Americans eat out. What do you do, Naomi? That's why you're in the gym so steady. That's why you're living in the gym. You're too Americanized. You want to eat out. But one of the things I love about the US, the food reasonable. Right? Uncle Donald food reasonable. Reasonable. Chisel Chipper says fairy lights in the tongue. Fairy lights in the tongue. Fairy lights in the tongue. But I told you it's all downhill from there. Did I see Alex Rodriguez? Let me talk politics. Let's talk politics. Here you go, Alex. Take it away. Here you go. So, we told that the Ghana Revenue Authority is getting ready to lay charges. The police against the leader of the opposition for a transaction that happened at the Revenue Authority quite recently. What are your thoughts on this? It has already fired several of his employees, including a manager, over this issue. Dismissed them. And this comes after an internal investigation found that they unlawfully transferred motor vehicles linked to the leader of the opposition, Ashuddin Mohammed. Unlawfully. We told that these transfers were allegedly carried out despite the opposition leader being subject to sanctions and legal scrutiny. And then the report says it raises concerns about breaches of anti-money laundering laws. And we told that the authorities have confirmed that criminal proceedings are being pursued. And of course, it's in collaboration with law enforcement agencies. Yeah. Folks, we're in for quite a ride. We're in for quite a ride. Buckle up a little bit. Buckle up a little bit. Please and thank you. Right? We gotta buckle up a little bit. I love all the feedback we get this morning. Love all the feedback we get this morning. Buckle up a little bit. The ride is gonna be a tad bit bumpy. It's gonna be a tad bit bumpy. So we got this now. This new iteration, these new charges, and right? I have no doubt the leader of the opposition is going to cry foul. And will say it's the PPP again coming after him. And you know it by routine, or by rote, as they say, by now. You know it by heart. They're coming after him because they don't want a strong opposition and so on. I would just, not only for the leader of the opposition, for all of us, let us stay on the right side of the law. Let us stay on the right side of the law. Let us endeavor to be law-abiding people. Right. Deborah, Shawnette, Alicia, Juliet Mickle, Neocon, Humi, let us endeavor to be law-abiding people. Please, first and foremost. First and foremost. Right. If you have vehicles that are under investigation, would you transfer those vehicles in the middle of those investigations? That's an interesting way to go about it. Very, very interesting way to go about it. And so I see the comments, no sympathy, and so on and so on. Right? Would you do that? In the middle of the thing, it's my property, I dispose of it how I want to dispose of it. Let's see what becomes of this. Breeder Clark, let's see what becomes of it. Carlisle, let's see what becomes of it. Chisel Chipper, let's see what becomes of this story. And on the other front, as we were saying, this budget is upon us. The debates start on Monday, and then the following week, Monday, you have the scrutiny of the estimates that will start. You have the scrutiny of the estimates that will start. I saw a very interesting comment yesterday by Ron Austin Jr. I don't know how many of you saw it. A very, very interesting comment that he made concerning presentations in the National Assembly. I thought, you ever see something and you thought, interesting. Right. Interesting. Hear what he says. I'll read some of it for you. You better brace yourself. We're in for interesting times. I love being a part of the process. And simultaneously, you're a spectator, you watching on too. Here, Mr. Austin says that I've observed parliamentary affairs. Now, if you agree or disagree with him, I've observed parliamentary affairs for years. He says, yes. And I've also had the opportunity of being involved in technical work of parliamentary communications. And I'm trying to fathom a circumstance where there are parliamentarians with zero public speaking experience being subject to 30 minutes of a budget presentation in a cauldron of odious yardfoulism. Odious yardfoulism. That's what he said. He said, I would not wish that on my worst enemy. Tell me what he said. He said, I won't wish it on my worst enemy. And then he goes on. He said, think about this. The leader of the opposition speech will be sandwiched between the government's chief whip, Gail Teixeira, and the prime minister, and the minister of finance. These presenters have decades of experience and oratorical skills that are unmatched. It's not a fair fight. This is Ronald Austin Jr. In debating terms, or in terms of debating, it is a beat down. Ronald says to emerge out of that ambush, you have to have the oratorial skills of the great Caribbean politicians. He said you got to be versed in the art of rebutting, pre-rebutting, and rebutting. He said next week going to be quite interesting. He says next week going to be quite interesting. I can send you all the photograph. Agree or disagree? Agree or disagree? Rupert Perry, Rita Clark. I'm just giving you all a snapshot of some of the things that are percolating, trending, that are of interest. Some of the top stories as you begin your morning. I know some of you went, Giselle says, Ronald laying it out. Tin, tin, tin. I love how we Caribbean people talk. When you hear tin, 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 you get the whole thing, You need a paragraph. You don't need a book. You get everything right there. Everything right there. Got a lot. So as I said, I'm prepping y'all. I know some of you get a little basta. We're prepping. Next week is budget. Budget. And I don't care if I got half hour or 5 minutes. You got bat. You got a bat. That's the important thing. You got to prepare. Right? Don't let these 6 days fluster you. All these books I got to read in 6 days. All these books. Challenge yourself. Challenge yourself. I remember I was coming back from Tobago. I got back into Trinidad very early from Tobago, and my flight was the afternoon. Right? I was listening to an audiobook, started an audiobook. Y'all know my eyes in what it used to be. Started an audiobook and listened to the whole book while waiting on my flight. It was 4 or 5 hours of listening. Listen to the whole book. I challenged myself. Right? I was going to go down into Port of Spain. I lived in Trinidad for a little bit. I ever tell you all that? Lived in Trinidad for a little bit. I got a lot of friends still in Trinidad. My big son was born in Trinidad. John Pierre is born in Trinidad. So I got a couple of friends there. So I was going to run down in Trinidad, run down to Port of Spain, buy 2 doubles on the promenade, and then come back up. It's a short bus ride. $3 used to be $3 bus ride. Run down quick. Buy some doubles, some authentic. I know we sell doubles here. The authentic doubles. You know, drink some lemonade on the promenade and then head back up. But I say, you know what? Wrong bank. I can challenge myself. Don't let it volumes. Next week is debate. And the session next week starts at 2 o'clock, which means these debates will be going into the night. Way into the night. So that's next week. And then by the time we get into the following week, this is the scrutiny of the estimates, where the ministers come with the ministry staff, senior staff, and you get to quiz them now, line by line, in these volumes, what this spending is meant to achieve and what is spent and what intend to spend. Expenditure and estimates. We're going to go through line by line. So we have a 2 weeks process ahead of us. Line by line, we're going to be doing that. So that you know. Right? I know a lot of people now tuning in to politics. And so they might say, I ain't see my people talking. Why they talking? Hold on. But I'm certain you'll get a schedule of speakers and all that. You'll know who is on, when, and so on. And you guys will be able to join and partake in those discussions, debate in the National Assembly that are coming up. Right? Newcon says, I hope you're taking your vitamins. We got to try. We got to try. Terrence, we see you there, and Savage, and all the other folks who are joining us. Great to have you all on the live this morning. So that's what we're doing next week. But look what's happening right now. You know, I don't know how many of you this budget find favor with. I would like to know how many of you this budget has found favor with. How many? How many? Saw President Irfan Ali out there defending his budget. Well, he can do. But when he says a pro-poor budget, okay. According to him, it is alleged the budget is designed to raise disposable income, expand access to essential services, among other things. He said it represents the first phase of a 5-year plan. Here's what he's really saying here. I know it's not all nice time for y'all, but it's 5 years we get. Bear with me. He says the first phase of a 5-year development plan with measures including cash grant, tax relief, healthcare expansion, education investment, and support for entrepreneurship. Let me circle back to cash grants for a second. Did you note no date has been given for the cash grant distribution? I am betting that this is going to happen just before local government elections, if they call local government elections. I'm betting that. Kirk, I'm betting that. Bernice and Waveney Savage, I'm betting just before you got to vote, them boys say, come for your thing. Come for your thing. Hoping that when you get a thing, you forget all of the shortcomings. You forget how they depose of the acting chancellor, you got the Cummins Edwards justice. You forget what they did to the Teaching Service Commission. Right? You forget this. You forget how the cost of living high because you get a little something in your hand now for the same cost of living. That is what they're hoping, folks. That's what they're hoping. Right? But don't suffer fools gladly. Don't do it. Ali says, or rather insisted, that his policies are people-centered. Where have I heard that recently? It's people-centered. That's what he said. Do you guys believe that? That resonates with you? And of course, he said that the budget aligns with commitments that were made during the 2025 campaign. That budget, outside of the PPP, what do you call them? Cinco funds, defenders. I didn't see too much or too many good reviews on this budget. I did not. And of course, as we started, APNU has raised strong objections to budget 2026. In large measure, saying it lacks, from a first initial engagement, cursory glance at the budget, it lacks transparency and adequate safeguards against the misuse of public funds. Right? And then we see a lot of large allocations being announced without sufficient details on implementation or oversight or measured outcomes. And these things are real. These things are very real. And that's why we want to help you guys to break it down. We're told that concerns were also expressed about the role of Parliament and the Speaker during the budget presentation. Something I can be watching very closely, because after hearing that tirade by the Speaker, I don't know how he's coming back to impartiality. I just don't. I don't know how he coming back to impartiality. And of course, we've had a lot of commentary on this budget similarly by private sector actors. I did tell you I saw some from the GCCI, the Private Sector Commission. I saw some from the Ghana Manufacturing Service Association. And now I'm seeing some small business people too making some comments. So we're watching it, folks. We're gauging it, folks. Next week, we're going to have a more studied position on this budget. Right? We're going to have a studied position on it. I'll be talking a little bit about housing and home affairs. And I hope I can do, in my short time, I can do it justice. But outside of just the National Assembly, we're going to come back. Right? We're going to come back and talk to you folks even more and in greater details about this issue. Right? We're going to do that. Can we just all get along? I see some fighting in the comments there. Right? Some fighting in the comments there. Can we just all get along? So we got that happening. The president's views and the opposition, APNU in particular, putting forward his views out there. And then we got a lot of stuff happening as well. I saw as I see all there in Region 10. In Region 10. I know there was a protest yesterday. There's a protest yesterday pushing the regional officials to call that very important meeting. And so the council can complete this internal electoral issue of electing the chair and vice chair. And so the business of the region can go forward. I'm very surprised you've had no explanation from no proper explanation from the Minister of Local Government, no proper explanation from the President himself, who are all well aware of what is happening. But I'll tell you this. There's nothing new under the sun. Nothing new under the sun. When I saw some of this, I remember Western Trial. Dr. Jagan got a chapter in there. In office, but not in power. In office, but not in power. And this is the political reality in this country. Not just for win, You think apnea had the easy time? You think apnea had the easy time? You know, I respect people in political parties. I have no profound hate for anybody. Personally, ideologically, we might conflict. Ideologically, we might conflict. Right? I ain't gonna profound. But it's not as easy as you think, you know. Some people think we were here all this time just wasting time. And they're gonna come and they're gonna go right to the top. You're just wasting time. And that's when I heard my brother Harbor John, you know, exclaiming and lamenting the fact we only got 6 days and all these books we got to cover. You know, I said, well, this is what it is. You got to walk and chew gum at the same time. This is the road. This is the road. But we got to keep pressing forward, irrespective if the road is smooth or the road is bumpy. We got to keep pressing forward. So Mark Goring, who I have no doubt is a great guy, Mark has been pushing. Mark has been pushing. Right? He was coalition, he went to win, and we want him back. We want him back. You see, but he is the win's choice for chairman in Region 10. And no doubt organized this protest in Region 10. Again, pressing for the Regional Democratic Council. Right? The REO in particular, who's the clerk of meetings, to call this meeting and get on with it. Do it like the British do. Get on with it. You know, just get on with it. But I think now people are getting a sense, you know, this thing can take a little bit more than just wishful thinking. Right? PP government don't just roll over. You got to make the roll over. But I think we can do it. I think we can get it right. And they can get it right. I think we can do it. You know? And that's why when I saw the comment made by my colleague, Harbor John, fellow environment, I said, he's young yet in the thing. He can, you know, find his stride and move ahead. And move ahead so that we can confront this government. Right? Confront them. And confront them in a way that is substantive. That's why we got to read the book. 6 days or 3. We got to confront them in those numbers. That is a national budget. Confront them. And I hope that you guys have been following, because APNU has said in their councillors in Linden that they are ready, they are committed to this process, committed to completing, right? Committed to completing this process. Yep. So let us move forward. Let us move forward. And this is not the only thing. It's so much. A lot of boards and so on, state boards and so on, that needs to be constituted, and for those process in and of themselves to move forward. A lot of that got to be done. But, of course, you have a PPP who believe that democracy is just a ballot in a box. You don't even got to know how it got there. Once you got the ballot and you got the box, you're good to go. And as we wrap up, folks, as we wrap up this morning, I want to turn attention to some other news. Ghana got the most dangerous roadways in the world. Watch it as y'all maneuver and navigate out there. Watch it. Watch it. Sean Sargent, 28-year-old labor, just got bail over there, causing the death of Jason Bush, that who I know. And I want to run past this very quick because when I stop and I think about it, I just start welling up. You know, young man, professional, 33 years old, works for DDL, just going about his business, driving his bus, going along the East Bank Road, and Sean Sargent's vehicle slammed into the back of that bus. The bus toppled several times. And Jason Bush, that transition in that way. You know, our thoughts and our prayers with the family, his community, the Bush dads. I know them well. I know them personally. I know how hard this is. It's hard for me watching the family. Guyana has some of the most dangerous roadways in the world. Yesterday, I just stepped out of a vehicle, closed the door, and a man is already on me. He's already on me already. Don't give away. We got to change that culture. It can take some time, but we have to change the culture. Our thoughts and our prayers to the Bush dad, gentleman, as I said, who is alleged to have caused the death of Jason Bush dad. He's now in place of a $500,000 bail, pending his next court hearing. Sean Sargent, he's 28. He is 28. While we're looking at that, I think that's it. Oh, in Lethem, we saw a tourist, a very popular tourist guide. Dangerous country we're into. Dangerous roadways, dangerous period. You know, his charred remains, I'm being told, was found in a vehicle. This is Leon Beard, a well-known Rupununi tour guide, popularly called Rasta. He was found dead. Right? His burned body was discovered inside his vehicle at a place called Sand Creek in Region 9. Right? And we're told that the investigations are ongoing. His burnt body. Beloved of his community, his burnt body was found in his vehicle. Dangerous, dangerous country we live in. You gotta be careful out there. Be careful in the roadways. Right? Jason wasn't speeding. He wasn't in the wrong. He's just driving his way. And a car, we all call it in the West, tail end him. And that's it. That's it. You gotta be careful. Be careful out there, folks. Be careful out there. Our best days are ahead of us. That's going to do it for us for the morning program today. Good to have had all of you in the live. Those of you who agreed with us, didn't agree with us. That's what this program is about. You know, let us keep talking. Valerie and Sabrina, Homie, Mandy, Bernadette, Juliet. Good to have all of you in the live. Folks, we're going to see you guys in the next one. Before you go, share the broadcast for us. Don't just come and consume the content, abuse you up and so on, and left with you. Do us a big favor. Share the broadcast. Smash that emoji button. We got over 1,000 of you engaging our morning program as we speak. Do that for us. Right? Do that for us. Quite over 1,000 of you. Right? On Facebook, we got over 300 of you watching us on our Facebook channel and over 700 of you watching us on YouTube. Share the live for us. Smash that emoji button as well. And we're going to see you beautiful folks on the next broadcast. Stay safe.